That's right, subsidies to other governments. The U.S. government should end its participation in the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund. Some of my allies in the anti-war movement, the left-wing allies, have these bumper stickers. If you want peace, work for justice. I think that's a good one. I think I got a better one, and I want to end with that. I mean, think about what's behind war. It's the loss of freedom. If you want peace, work for freedom. Hi.
Yes, hello. In your small debate...
What's your name?
David Preston, George Mason intern.
Hi.
Let's see. In your small debate with Herbert Humphreys, as you seem to use the 13th Amendment as your foundation for defeating him, but couldn't it be said that the 13th Amendment can actually be used against you, and that the second clause says, except as punishment for crime whereof the party shall have been duly convicted, this will make involuntary servitude allowed? And could this be used to say, hey, if we're going to have a draft, then maybe one day we'll just start using our own prisoners?
Well, actually, yeah, so it's true if you just go with the 13th Amendment, it would justify a draft of prisoners, but not a draft of, I'm guessing, you.
It's Herbert Humphreys, that's what I would have probably told you.
Yeah, but that means you read.
No, I know. I'm not promoting draft, I'm just saying that.
Right. Hi.
Good morning. Gene Carbonell from Portland, Maine. As an addition to what you were saying when you began your speech about applauding ourselves for being here, I just want to add this. Hotel room, $150. Registration, $4.95. The advice, counsel, the wonderful people here, the great conversations I've had with some of the participants and speakers, priceless. But my question, it might be a little off topic. Another unintended consequence of this fiasco is the Department of Homeland Security. Yeah. What are the economics concerning that?
This is another kind of application of Hayek. The best people to this whole decentralized information thing, the best people to defend you are you and the people you hire. And my first week in class, when I talk about Hayek's information, I point out that the two good things that happened on September 11th were both examples of decentralized information. Because of the time constraint, I want to point to just one of them, and that's Flight United 93. I mean, think about it. Those people responded in real time because of information they got on cell phones. If they'd waited for some government order, they would have been, well, they were dead, but other people would have been dead too. And so I was traveling on September 22nd, 2001, and the airplane was pretty empty. So the stewardess and I had a lot of time to talk. And I said, I almost canceled because I got a little superstitious, 011 and all that, And so she said, yeah, we're so safe because of all those people. And I said, no. We're safe because you and I are never going to act the way we were told to act. We're never going to do that again. That's why we're safe. And the lesson that should have been learned from Richard Reed's shoes is not to check people's shoes. Those people beat them. They beat them. They tied them up. We can do this. And, Brazil passed a law late that week, and the president didn't dare veto. I think it was like a 600-5 vote or something to allow any adult over 21 to have a plane and a gun on a plane. And I think it's a little extreme. I think it's up to the airlines as private property. But the point is, there's so many things we can do to protect ourselves.
Ned Elmer from Texas. As an MD-type doctor, I've always been interested in trying to get some sort of economic translation between the amount of capital that government destroys at all level and translating it into life lost or years of life lost. Are you aware of any sort of economic translation between dollars destroyed by government and how much actual life or years of life are lost in human terms?
John Stossel, actually, and I taught about that years ago. There's an article, I think it's in Regulation Magazine from some years back, that basically says poverty kills. And the evidence is quite clear. And so then what you can do is say, okay, how much poverty does government create? How much wealth does it destroy? And then you can do that translation. And I haven't done it. I'm positive it's in the, for the United States, you know, in the thousands per year, maybe hundreds of thousands. But I can even point more directly. The FDA probably kills at least 10,000 people a year. Just that one. Yes.
My name is Forrest Travis. I'm from Ponte Vedra Beach, Florida. We've heard a lot of comments over the last several days in opposition to war, which I can understand in the environment we're in, where we've been involved in a, quote, preemptive war. But I'm curious if we take a less warlike posture in our country. I would just love your comments and thoughts about the ability to wage a defensive war if that was ever necessary.
Yeah. You know, we've got these two great things protecting us. They're called the Atlantic and the Pacific. I mean, those just are such incredible protection. And so I think we could defend, we now spend about 5% of GDP on war or defense. I think we could cut that to 1% and have a substantial military force able to defend us. I just, you know, we haven't had a defensive war since 1812, you know, so, and we had a lot of time without a large military in there. Follow-up.
David, it's just a quick follow-up. I appreciate that, and we're very fortunate in that respect. Part of my question there, if there is high-tech capability in the ocean, also doesn't oppose much opposition getting here, or closer, and missiles reach long distances, how would we maintain a defensive posture, and some have been attempted, I realize, for a high-tech war? Do you think the 1% number would hold that? Thank you.
Yeah, I do. And let me just say that we got two kinds of war we're talking about here. One is where people invade us, and that's what I was talking about. You're talking about where people send a missile. I've had done a lot of soul searching in this, and so I'm not kind of totally happy with the answer I'm going to give you. But we did figure out how to deter the Soviets for about 40 or 50 years. It was to threaten to kill them, which meant killing mainly innocent people, and that's why I'm not happy with it. But the point is, you can do that with 1% of GDP. And the thing is, a lot of these threats would go away. See, and I think that came out in Kinzer's talk. It's not like these people are waking up in the morning in these parts of the world and saying, oh, I hate, you know, Britney Spears, therefore I'm going to attack the United States. They're saying, I do not want the United States interfering in my country. So here's what I would say. Let's get down to that 1% of GDP. Let's pull out of virtually everywhere. And let's see what happens. Are we going to have these big problems? And it looks like my time's up. Thank you.